me switch a bit, talk about, there are a lot of guitar fans, your guitar fans, that will be watching this, and I'm sure that they want me to ask you, how do you practice? How do you learn new music? What kind of advice do you give your students when they are practicing a piece? Is there a method behind Manuel Barrueco?
I want to go back to the Segovia thing just for 1 second. I wanted to say that I think maybe a problem with the Segovia thing is that sometimes he was presented, and maybe he helped to present himself as a god. So when you compare him with a god, he falls short. I mean, but when you compare with humans, it's amazing what he did. I was thinking about practicing, how the way in which I practice keeps changing. You know, the goals are the same, but the ways in which I practice, it keeps changing. And the way I'm practicing now, it's a little bit different than it was before. The goals are the same, which is basically, you have to understand mentally what you're doing. Basically, the way I tell the students, is you cannot control what you don't understand. If you're sitting there and you say, well, I'm gonna help my hands do things. If you don't know what you're supposed to do, how are you gonna do it? Another thing that I love telling them, when I talk about, I'm gonna concentrate, and so I tell them, you're gonna concentrate on what? When you don't concentrate on concentration, you say, I'm gonna concentrate on what? So you need something that will get you through. Anyway, mentally, you need to understand what's doing. Physically, you need to know how to get the most out of the hands. And I think if in the simplest form, the simplest thing that I can say for students is basically, you have to remember that you're going to play the way you practice. So if you practice mistakes, you're going to play with mistakes. If you practice without mistakes, you're still going to make mistakes. We're human, and they're variables that we cannot control. But you're going to make a lot less mistakes.
What is the process when you look at a new piece? You decide the fingerings first. You decide make decisions about the music. What is the process, especially in a new piece?
Well, the process right now is, if it's a new piece that I haven't seen, is you begin to live with it. You begin to play. You're touching it. It's like you're getting to know somebody. You have to spend time with that person. You have to spend time, and you begin to formulate ideas. You begin to. I believe I have something that I really believe very much in letting, and this sounds like Hindu, so it's like I believe in letting things speak to me, revealing themselves to me, So I really try to make sure not to begin to tell the music or to decide what it's about, but to tell me. So it's that, you read it, you're living with it, and until you begin to find a way to find the vision of it that you love. I tell the students also, I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but maybe so-and-so comes in, I fall in love with this woman, it's the most beautiful thing ever. And you see the woman, you say, that's the most beautiful. But what it tells us is that he's seeing something that we're not seeing, Now that we're talking about this, I also remember when I was a student, there was this man that was the biggest womanizer in the school. And he used to say, he was this guy from Barbados, and he used to say, man, there's something very beautiful in every woman. He said, the secret is to find it. So anyway, the point is that it's kind of like that. You're trying to fall in love with it. You're trying to see the angle, and until I become totally convinced of what I'm doing. Sometimes that doesn't quite happen. Sometimes there are questions that parts of the thing that I don't know what to do.
You have a very relaxed way of playing that amazes most people. Your hands always seem to be in the right place. Is there a method behind it? Is that something that you are constantly working on?
Can I tell you a story?
Of course. That's what we're here for.
The problem at this stage in my life is everything reminds me of a story. One of the greatest things I ever did in my life was play the Takemitsu Concerto in Boston with Seiji Osawa. Mm-hmm. I was starstruck with this man, what an amazing musician, So anyway, the point is that we're rehearsing the piece a couple of days before the concert. He's like looking at things, and the day of the concert comes, this is a modern piece, and he plays it from memory. We all go out to dinner, everybody's like amazed. He said, how do you do that? And Osawa said, I work on it. So if my hands look relaxed, it's probably because I'm working on that. And I do. I mean, I work on because they look relaxed. First of all, being relaxed is essential. It's essential because movements that are tense, they tend not to be very musical anyway. Because you can depend on them, on what time they will happen, and much less control dynamics. So the movements need to be more relaxed. And I'm also always looking to see how I can make the passage as easy as possible for myself. Why? Because then it feels easier. Because it is easier. So yeah, I'm always trying to do that. Having said that, I sometimes hear this. That's not the way I perceive it. From my end of it, I'm still looking at the things that I find difficult because I lower the level of difficulty, but only to a certain level, and then some there, and that's not how I see it.
Let's talk about repertoire a bit. How do you choose your repertoire these days? And a question that many people ask me to ask you, why didn't you record more Renaissance pieces, or why don't you include more Dowlands, for example, in your programs?
Because I love Dowland and I love Renaissance music. I mean, I think especially Dowland is so sweet, or can be so sweet. And I was never really clear how to play it. So I just haven't. Doesn't mean that I will not do it, but I haven't done it yet. You know, I mean, one time I had Robert Rock build me a guitar that was with double strings, so I could practice and get the sonorities. So that's really the reason. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure whether, for example, in playing Milan, I'm not even sure whether to lower the third string down to F sharp or not. Mm-hmm. I've been wrestling with that question for about 20 years and I still have not made up. So if you know the answer, let me know. I keep thinking, well, maybe it should be F sharp because, you know, it's going to fall more like the way being everywhere. And then I think, well, wait a minute, if it's going to be the same as every well, then why play it on the guitar? Maybe it should be G to see what comes out of that mixture, you know. Mm-hmm. So there I am. How
about the repertoire? How do you define what you're going to play?
Well, what I think of the repertoire is that it's really important to try, for me, to find a repertoire that will reach a wide number of people. But my people, my audience, I mean, I don't believe, you know, like in going out and play cha-cha-cha or something and just become more and more popular, you know. I mean, the matters where I play popular music. And if I'm going to listen to popular music, I'll go to a really good popular player, not a classical player playing, you know, popular music badly, you know. What's the point, you know? So I think if I can make a criticism, you know, but I say this constructive, you know, I mean, I love the guitar world and I, you know, and I think guitarists overall, I mean, I think really dedicated bunch, but sometimes we're playing music that is only geared towards other guitarists. Mm-hmm. And really nobody else gives a crap about it. So, you know, so I think what I try to find is repertoire music that a guitarist would like, but also just a regular music lover. And I should not have said the widest. That really misrepresent, because that could mean like I'm trying to reach everybody on the street. That's not what I'm trying to do. I am trying to reach the music lovers, you know. So I think it's really important at this moment, especially with the guitar, to keep an eye more on the quality. I think, and I understand that the pressure to be different is there. But if it's different and bad, of bad quality, then better something that's been done before but of good quality. This is the way I see it.